Hi, it's David for those of you that haven't watched before, and welcome to the next episode of the vlog. Today we're going to cover off what got to the decision to get the CV20, the Elddis Cv20 Campervan. So prior to hiring the Bessacarr 560, I looked at the Bessacarr 524, or Swift Kontiki Sport as it's now known, 524. And that seemed in principle quite a good idea. It had a drop down bed. The challenge it had was, though, you either had to be in bed or up. There wasn't any other area to go beyond those two. So after thinking quite long and hard on it, decided to not go for the 524. It did seem the perfect solution because you had a shorter van, but you also had the width. It was the same width as the 560, and therefore you might as well have gone for the 560. And as I said, there's the bigger Swift range and beautiful vans, absolutely gorgeous vans. But then you're getting to a size, not so much for driving, not a massive issue, because you know once you get over 6 meters, it becomes more awkward to park anyway. So you know whether it's 7 or 8 meters or somewhere in between, doesn't make a massive amount of odds. But it's the width really, when you're passing things on roads, and obviously the length as well comes into it and starts to create an additional challenge there if you're on tight hairpins and things like that. Then started looking at the campervan range, so van derived motorhomes essentially, and I decided I wanted something in between a kind of luxury motorhome and a campervan, because campervans were all pretty basic. Some of the conversions as well were pretty poor, and a lot of them were just based around a very standard setup where you had a rock and roll bed or the equivalent of that, and a table and a wardrobe at the side of you, and they were all very much samey, you know, came in different colours and things like that, but principally the same layout. So kind of looked at the next size up. So what I was trying to get is, what's the biggest van you can get that's still practical and doesn't bring that wide width or being too long to be a nuisance as such. So I'd previously looked at the Elddis Cv60 and I thought that was a fantastic compromise. The only thing I found didn't quite work for us, and I realised that layout is what I was looking at when somebody we knew had got one and went to have a look at it, and I hadn't actually seen the Cv20 because there'd always been the 40s or the 60s in, and predominantly 60s. So I'd had a look around the 60, and I realised the 40, an absolutely beautiful campervan, but no good for anybody of 6'5", 6'4" kind of height. But I would have gone for that one 100% if I'd not been so tall. But so I went and had a lay down in a CV20 and absolutely hit the nail on the head. And I had a look to compare some of the different models. I'd actually arranged to hire from Swift Go, like the 560, one of the 122s from there, which is the equivalent of the CV20 in Swift range. And unfortunately, due to COVID lockdowns, that got cancelled. And also, by that point, I'd decided I was happy with what I wanted to order, and I'd already placed the order. So it would have been a bit awkward if I'd suddenly decided I loved the Swift one more. So what made me choose between the Swift and the CV20? So the thing that made me choose between them, the CV20 just felt more homely and more cosy, and it felt more open. That was the first point. So just the feel of it compared to the Swift. And the Swift had beautiful materials. There was just something when it all came together, it just didn't quite say, come on David, this is what you want with that. I really liked in the Swift the control panel, because Swift's updated, whereas Elddis seemed to be, whilst they're, you know, they're updated panels, but it's not kind of touch screen, icon driven things. But you can do something about that if you want to change it. So that you kind of look at what could I change that I'm not happy with to get the perfect van, versus what can't I change. So that was the first reason, well, the first and second reason really is that you can change some things with that. But the other thing is, the underslung gas tank on the Elddis is really quite innovative, because it moves out the way all of that complexity of needing a gas bottle and being able to fill it up. It just saves a lot of hassle and space. You save quite a lot of space with that. So I liked the fact that Elddis had innovated and put the gas tank underneath. That was really clever. And there were a few other things as well, as you kind of looked around, thought, do you know what, that's really clever and space saving. So you're not having to have things within the main body of the vehicle, such as, you know, the water heater, the space heater, and everything like that underneath. It's just a clever way of doing things. There was a good set of options as well, and a lot of the dealer specials in the CV range came with the options that made a lot of sense. So that was another plus there. I said the main minuses of the CV was the control panel. I say pretty poor, to be frank, Elddis. Very, very basic in comparison, so not kind of your modern day control panel, but other than that, seems to be a really, really good van. The only other bit I thought that the Swift had that was really cool compared to the CV is the window above the cab, because that lets quite a lot of light in when you see those with the blinds open. And just gives a view out as well when you're looking from the back. So I think that's probably something that could improve going forward. But anything else, kind of minor improvements, I could do myself essentially. The other thing I was really keen to get was an automatic as well. I just got used to it. My dad told me about automatics years ago, and I was a manual fan at the time. I absolutely, you know, you don't need an automatic. But then I got an automatic car, and unfortunately after that point, I think once you've had one, you really don't want to go back to a manual. And as I mentioned in the hire video, the one from last year, the motorhome hire one, that the old automatic on the Fiat vans wasn't brilliant. The Comformatic, I think it was called, because it's a robotised manual essentially, whereas the feedback on the new 9-speed auto seems to be really, really great. So looking forward to that when it arrives. So that's how I got to the CV20. I then emailed a number of dealers to ask with a list of the specification I was after. I'll cover that on a separate video, and then ultimately got round to ordering the CV20 towards the end of September 2020. And at time of this video, I'm still waiting. It was due in for March, April 21. So at this point in time, it's getting on for just under 6 months overdue now. Current forecast is October, but we'll wait and see, because there's a number of different variables at play. Seems to be COVID related impacts, microchip shortages, as well as kind of downward in the industry. So it's not just one particular manufacturer. They obviously get things from other manufacturers and some challenges around that, but hopefully it won't be too long. Really looking forward to it, and looking forward to doing the first video from the van when it arrives. So I went for a grey CV20 automatic dealer special model, just for reference. I say we'll cover the spec in another video, and I'll explain the rationale for why I wanted the particular options for my particular situation. Again, everybody's different, so it doesn't, what's good for me maybe isn't good for somebody else, and people have different ways of doing things, so choose your own options and things in a lot of cases. But yeah, so that's how we got to the CV20, and looking forward to receiving it. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. If you're liking the content and the theme, please subscribe. And if you want to be notified when there's new videos out, and I'll try and make sure we get one out every week, as a minimum one a week. And please click the notification bell, and then you'll be first to know when the videos are out. Welcome any comments. Please let me know what's working, what's not working. With your feedback I can get better. I'm really new to this, as you've probably gathered, but appreciate your help to make sure it's relevant and useful, and I hope it gives you some insight as well and you find something out of it. Thank you very much. You take care, and I'll see you next time.